Hi everyone, it's Dees from Turtle Dove. How's everyone doing? I just thought I would craft a little bit while you watch. I have been making these little drummer boy drums. I was online looking at decorations, tree ornaments and things, and I saw this little red drum and I thought I can make something similar. So that's where I got my inspiration from. But look how pretty they are. They're very time consuming. I feel like I say that a lot, but look at that. There's that one, and the purple one. The neighbour's dog's crying. I think they've taken him outside for a little bit. There's the blue. I love the blue one actually. So I just used what I have in my stash, and I just thought I would show you the process. Not maybe all. We'll never know if the camera's going to cut out. So what I did was I used these rolls. Now I can't even remember what were on them, or what was on them. Maybe it was, I don't think it was Glad wrap, but anyway they're quite thick and that's why I used it. So I have two of them, and it was quite difficult to cut, so I just decided what size I want the drum, how wide I want it, and then I used this little saw that I've got. I bought this set from Aldi, Work Zone, and it's got different size blades or saws, and that's what I did. So I'm making 6, I've made 3, and I'm just going to do a little bit along with you. I went ahead and started a couple of them, but basically this is the 3cm width, which is just over an inch, and I cut out the glitter paper. This one's the stiffer one. This one's not, it's a little bit thinner, but it just drops glitter everywhere on this, and same with the blue. But this one here, the iridescent, doesn't drop the glitter, and the only downside of doing that is that you can see a couple of little bulges where it wanted to fold but it didn't. So anyway, I just glued that down. Just put I used fabric glue, to be honest, because that's nice and thick. And then I just glued it like that and cut it there, and then I held it together with some little mini pegs overnight just to dry, just like that. So that's how I did that part. And I also found that you see when you bring it around it wants to fold, so to help with that you can sort of find something round and sort of just work it into the shape to start with, so it wants to bend that way. And for the tops and the bottom of the drum, I have this beautiful embossed paper that I bought a long time ago, so it's nice to use that. So basically, after that's dried, then I put the bottom on. So you've got to work out which you want as the top or the bottom. So the paper's slightly overlapping this side, so that's going to be the bottom. I want the better side on the top because that's what you'll be seeing. So just glue that on, and it can get very messy, but I'll put plenty of this on I could use hot glue, but I want it to last, and hot glue can actually come off certain materials quite easily, so you can see glitter everywhere. So I just, what I did to measure the circles, I just used the end of the pipe that I'm using and just traced around it, put it down on the paper, traced around and cut it out. Now the only thing with this gold embossed paper is you don't want to get any glue on the top of it because it'll just spoil it. So there we go. And then after that I got some of this elasticized trim and got more of the fabric, used more of the fabric glue, and then just carefully glued that right on the edge. So that'll be your base. And then after that, so that's that bit there. Then after that, I got the trim that I wanted to use. And you can do this before or after, it doesn't matter. Before or after I put the elasticized string on, Now I've got to get these are Christmas trees on some black ribbon. It's really nice. Got to make sure you get it the right way. And you just glue. I roughly measure how much I need, plus a bit more, cut it, and then it's easy to work with. So that's that. It's easy. It's a little bit fiddly in some places. So that can dry. And then that's the stage where it's at now. So now I want to put the top on. And let's see what I've done with this blue one. I've just used some more trim. So I've got that here. Just got a little bit left of this one. It's really pretty, blue and gold. So I measure around, plus a little bit more. And once that's on, then I get another one of these embossed gold circles and I'll glue that on. But before I do that, I have to punch some holes in the top, which I'll do now. I just measured where I want the holes. Don't have to be too fussy. And then you can thread through that gold trim and that'll be your hanger. Or the gold elasticized string, I should say. And I think I measured mine at 10 inches. 10-inch lengths. So I'll do that. And for the little drumsticks, I used some skewers. Cut them down to the size I wanted, and I painted them just with my fingers. I used some of that Inca gold. Now where did I put it? Here we go. This one's the purple one. But you can use paints or whatever you've got. So just thread through both ends and then you can tie a knot so that they won't come through. Just do it 3 times. Probably not necessary, but I'd rather avoid a problem. because the holes are quite big. That's the smallest hole punch I've got, and that's still quite big. So there we go. So that's ready to glue on once I've got the trim on. I'm just going to cut these long bits down. And that's going to be ready. Oh, I got ahead of myself too. And for the end of the drumsticks, I just used some of these little pom-poms and stuck them down. And I did use hot glue for that, together with the fabric glue. So I'm all over the place today. Which one did I cut? That would be the smaller one. I better check. So I'll stick that down. And also with the patterns on the outside, I mean, you could do all this first and then put the trim down. But this is just how I did it, so I don't think there's any right or wrong way. And these, some of the trims tend to fray a bit, so I'll get my handy little lighter and just try and seal off the edges a little bit, but the glue will do the same thing. You've got to be careful not to burn that. You can see a little bit of black there, but I'm going to overlap that. Now I always start at the seam, and I'm going to make sure that some of this, the tip of the trim is just sitting above the rim, just slightly. This is where it can get messy. I hope it's still recording properly. So I'll just put that all the way around. And I use plenty without it making a mess, which is sometimes hard to do, but sometimes things don't want to stick to glitter, so I want to make sure there's enough glue there that it's not going to cause problems later. Okay, where's that bit that I... That's it there, I think. So I'm just going to push that down. And of course you don't want to get any of the wet glue down the bottom too, because sometimes you lift your finger up and it takes all the glitter off, so just got to be really careful. And that's just sitting above the rim, you can see. So now just going to cut that down slightly. Seal that off a little bit, and I'm going to use a little bit of that glue just on the very tip. And just overlap it slightly. I'm just going to make sure that it's all pressed down nicely. And because I've done that, there's a little bit of glue on the top, which is good because we're going to put the top on. Oops, it's escaping quickly. I'm nearly finished this glue. So again, I don't care if the glue falls inside, I just don't want it going on the outside. But you need a lot of glue, or plenty of, and a good quality glue for this, because it'll be hanging, so it's got to do its job. Now this is a tricky bit. I don't want to get glue everywhere, so hope you can see. My desk is so messy. There we go. Make sure I've got no sticky fingers, and push that down, and hopefully it's going to fit. I can see what the problem is. That knot is wanting to get in the way. There we go. Probably doing it on this side too. Now see, I've got a tiny bit of glue on the top there, but that's still okay, because that's, I can hide it with the drumsticks, but you've just got to be very careful. This is what I mean by it can be very fiddly, and because the glue's still wet, hasn't set properly yet, I can lift that trim up a little bit more where I need to. So that's that. And then now you want to decorate the outside. So I've used this very fine tinsel. It's beautiful gold tinsel, and all I do is measure. Now I use this, I bought this from Shine, S-H-E-I-N, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I just measured every so often and put a little mark where I want, a little dot, so I know to make that pattern. And then I stuck that down, little pieces. I just cut each piece out and did one down the seam and stuck some of the trim down the seam, and then lastly I just used some flat back rhinestones, and you can do whatever you like. And then once that's dry, I made the little drumsticks, and then I just stuck that down with some hot glue. And I crossed the sticks over. Look at the little jemmies, the square jemmies I used on this one. So they were really fun to make. So I'm going to continue with this trim and measure. I'll just do one just to show you. Like I said, you could do this before you put the trims down, but I want to try and save as much trim as I can, especially this one, because I haven't seen it in the shops since I bought that a few years back. Now this can get messy too, but you don't need a real lot. And you just use what you've got in the stash. So that's hidden that seam now, and now I can do that zigzag pattern all the way around. You can just eye it off, or you can measure it, whatever you feel like doing. And then you put the flatbacks on and you finish it off with the drumsticks, and there you have your drum. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I don't want to bore you with watching me do all those fiddly things, but look at this. Isn't it pretty? I want to make some green and pink ones, but I don't have all the green trims, and I just want to use what I've got in my stash at the moment. So, and the blue one again. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope this wasn't too boring, but the end result's really pretty. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.